Welcome to P.U.R.E Physics. Today we're going to see chapter number 1, Nature of Physical World and Measurement of Class 11 Physics Tamil Nadu Board. The topic of today's video is propagation of error, and the subtopic of today's video is error in sum of two quantities. So let us have an example. We are going to take two rods, which is rod A and rod B. We are using the measuring tape or a scale to measure the length of rod A and length of rod B. After measuring, we got 10 centimeter and 20 centimeter respectively. And at last, we came to know that in our measurement there is slight error. Obviously, in every measurement that we calculate in every experiment will contain a small amount of error. And in this measurement, we have small error, and I'm going to represent it as delta A. The small error in the measurement of length of rod A is delta A, and the small error here is delta B. And the value for delta A, I'm going to give it as 1 centimeter, and the value for this delta B is 2 centimeter. So now the actual length or the correct length of rod A will be either 9 centimeter or 11 centimeter, that is 10 plus or minus 1 centimeter. Since my measured value contains an error delta A, this actual length of rod A will either be slightly greater than 10 or slightly less than 9. So the final expression that I can express this actual length is 10 plus or minus 1 centimeter. Now moving on to the rod B, the measured value is 20 centimeter and my small error is 2 centimeter. Therefore, the actual length of this rod B will either be slightly lesser than 20 centimeter, which is 18 centimeter, or it will be slightly greater than 20 centimeter, which is 22 centimeter. And the final expression that I can express for the length of rod B, total length of rod B, is 20 plus or minus 2 centimeter. So this is my final expression. Now these are measured value. These are calculated value. So when I add these value, I will get 30. 10 plus 20 is 30 centimeter, which is nothing but my final answer after adding these both the values, which is Z. And these are the errors that are in the calculated value. If I add the calculated value, then my final value will also contain the error containing in each of the values, right? If 10 centimeter plus 20 centimeter is equal to 30 centimeter, and we say that this 10 centimeter has some error, which is nothing but 1 centimeter, then this 30 centimeter will also have error. So if we add both the errors, then we will get the final error in the final calculation, which is nothing but 3 centimeter is my final error in the final calculation. And now I'm going to take this 10 centimeter as A and this 20 centimeter as B. Now I'm adding A plus B and delta A plus delta B to get Z and delta Z. So now I need to represent this delta Z and Z. How do I represent it? I represented 10 plus or minus 1 centimeter for the length of rod A, which is nothing but A plus or minus B. A plus or minus delta A. And this is B plus or minus delta B, right? So I am adding both A plus or minus delta A plus B plus or minus delta B to get 30 plus or minus 3 centimeter, which is Z plus or minus delta Z. Am I correct? Because 30 is representing Z and this 3 centimeter is representing delta Z. Since we have plus or minus between both the values, I am going to take Z plus or minus delta Z. This answer is being arrived only when I add both these values. So what do I get? I can represent Z plus or minus delta Z is equal to A plus or minus delta A plus B plus or minus delta B. When I add both these values only, I am getting the final value which contains the error. So now This is my numerical problem. Now I need to represent it as a final expression. I need to find the error, only the error, not the final value. I need to find the error in the sum of two quantities. After adding the correct length of these two rods, what is the error left in the final expression? I need to find the expression for that. So now I am going to write 3 steps, which is the basic steps to arrive at the final expression. One is measured value. Measured value of rod A. Second one is measured value of rod B. And the third sentence or third statement is sum, which is nothing but Z is equal to the final value, the addition of A and B. Z is equal to A and B. Now, my final value for the actual length of rod A is 10 plus or minus 1 centimeter, which is A plus or minus delta A. So the value of A will be A plus or minus delta A. And for repeating the same for measured value of B is B plus or minus delta B. So if I add A plus B, I'm going to substitute the values of A and values of B in this equation, which is nothing but Z is equal to, in the place of A, I'm going to substitute A plus or minus delta A, put the bracket, put the positive sign, and write the value of B, which is nothing but B plus or minus delta B. B plus or minus delta B. Now, since I have the positive sign in between two terms, I'm going to take it for both the terms, which is nothing but A plus B. A plus B plus or minus will come in between the two terms. A plus B plus or minus delta A plus delta B, which is nothing but Z. Now, if I add the values of A and B, there will be the value of A and B as well as the error containing in it. Therefore, the final expression of Z can be taken as Z plus or minus delta Z. That is, it contains the final value as well as the error in that final value, which is nothing but in the place of A plus B, I'm going to substitute Z, and plus or minus this delta A plus delta B will remain as it is. I'll write this as same, Z plus or minus delta Z is equal to this. Now I'm going to cancel Z and Z. If I cancel Z and Z, and this plus or minus will vanish, and I will get delta Z is equal to delta A plus delta B. So my final expression, which is nothing but the error in the final answer, which is nothing but error in the sum of two quantities. When I add the two quantities, and the error in those two quantities is nothing but delta Z. So this will be my final expression for this subtopic.